This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right. Don't forget, folks, use our code BIGO10. So if you're going out to Dolphins scrimmage tomorrow, the practice tomorrow, maybe you want to go by Caneswear, get a hat, a shirt, use our code BIGO10. You'll get 10% off. If you don't live close by, because they've got Heat, Championship Panthers gear, all that kind of stuff, if you order over $99, you will get free shipping. And they haven't received it yet, but they're about to. The third InterMiami jersey, that's the Dolphins colors, they're getting the jersey, the shorts, the jacket, and the sneakers. So I'm actually getting the kit. I'm getting the not the replica. I'm going to get the real jersey, and I'm going to get the sneakers. Actually, I already got those. Told them, yo, set it aside, baby, when that comes in.
Hook it up. Hook it up.
Hook it up. Hook a brother up. That's what it's all about. So, it's all good there. So check it out there at caneswear.com. And they got almost practically anything and everything with the Canes logo also there. They even have, you know what, Manny? They have like those neon signs that spin around or go up on the wall of Canes and all that, but they have one of the Panthers championship. Yeah.
That's nice.
By the way, Sean, did you end up buying it before you left? Oh, okay. All right. Because I thought he was going to get it because he said he's going to get it because that is definitely a cool one. All right, let's get into it, my man. I saw that in the Athletic, you had 10 thoughts on the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
And I'll say it. I heard his interview with Joe, and he had a lot of the right things to say, a lot of the right cliches, and one of my favorite cliches was you can't expect to play tough, on game day if you don't practice tough and you're coach tough during the week, that kind of stuff, which everything makes sense in the world. Are they buying that you're around the players? Are they buying in? Because if he has his kind of players, then he should be able to maximize the team.
I think they're certainly buying what Cam Ward is selling, and I think that's the guy that they want to believe in and are following, so to speak, which is good. Because you and I know the best teams aren't the ones that listen to the coach, they're the ones that listen to the players and the leaders in the locker room. Those are the teams that have the most success, that have the best chemistry. And I think Mario Cristobal, this is 1,000% his roster now. These are all the guys that he handpicked and wanted to be here. And the excuse is out the window. So to me, does he have the quarterback now that is the leader? I think 1,000% he does. I think Cam Ward has won these guys over, whether it's been the off the field stuff that he does with them, of taking them out to dinner and having them hang out at his house, and all the different activities that he's done with them. I think they've got that guy. And I think on defense, they've got a guy who's proven it on the field to them last year, and Ruben Bain. So to me, they've got the right kind of leadership. And I think for everybody who's worried, is Mario going to screw this up? Are we going to see more Georgia Tech type fiascos? Not if the players and the Jerrys and the Joes that he got are as good as they're supposed to be. I think they're going to win games on ability alone. They're not going to be in as many close games where we're sweating it out in the fourth quarter because they're turning the ball over and making mistakes. This is going to be a good team because of what they got on the roster.
Well, obviously, I encourage everybody to subscribe to The Athletic, obviously, so they can get a lot of your insight on the Canes and other things going on in college football. Your article has 10 thoughts on the Hurricanes. If they want all 10, they can buy it. Give us one or two at least.
Yeah, well, I think an interesting dynamic, the running back room, right? We talk about Cam Ward being a leader. Damian Martinez is the new big shiny toy in the offense. He comes over from the number 2 rusher in the Pac-12 last season. Miami's backfield was a question going into the offseason because of the injury to Mark Fletcher. Well, we find out Mark Fletcher's got the list frank. We find out that Damian Martinez has come in and he's going to be the number 1 guy. What we didn't really know was these guys actually get along. And Mark Fletcher did a big job in recruiting Damian Martinez to come over here, to be a guy who shares the backfield with him. And I think one of the more, I guess, enlightening moments was just sort of seeing, hey, these guys, they share lockers. They're right next to each other. Elements of jealousy can ruin a team, right? You have guys that are angry or frustrated because their role isn't what they want it to be. Everybody knows this is Cam Ward's team from a football perspective, but from a backfield perspective, you have two guys that are legit studs in Damian Martinez and Mark Fletcher, and there could be jealousy. There could be, hey, I'm angry because this guy's getting more work than the other. The fact that doesn't exist, and the fact that they get along as well as they do, is important to me, because even with Cam Ward, Mario Cristobal is going to want to run the football. He's going to want to balance attack. He's going to want to pound teams into submission with his offensive line. And so if you have two guys in the backfield that don't get along, if you had a guy like Mark Fletcher who was upset because Mario brought in somebody new, older and better, you could have a problem. They don't have that on offense. There's no sort of disruptions. And to me, that was one big takeaway for me, of just talking to guys and having the opportunity to see them and talk to them and see their facial reactions to questions, etc. So that's one of my takeaways.
One of the things I'm seeing in Davey is that if the Weaver situation works out finally, that Mike McDaniel will feel comfortable with his coaching staff. He'll have balance. And since he got there, he inherited the defensive coordinator and then made a change, and it wasn't good enough. And now he's in another direction, and it looks like Weaver fits what they do. Has Mario Cristobal now going into year 3? Does he have the coaching staff he needs and he wanted?
Yeah, I mean, these are 8 of the 10 assistant coaches that are positional coaches and coordinators are back from last year. And I think that's important. You look at Florida State, Mike Norvell's had the same offensive defensive coordinator for the last several years. And his staff has not had much turnover whatsoever. It's been basically the same group of dudes. And I think that counts for something. You look at Clemson when they had their run where they won the conference. It was Dabo Swinney and it was Brent Venables. Like, college football is a shit show in that sense. Like, every year there is a coaching turnover and somebody is leaving and going somewhere else.
That's why Saban is more amazing than anyone else, because his turnover was sick, and yet he kept producing at the highest level.
Well, and that's because of the culture that he created, bringing in elite players and those elite players accepting that culture, right?
I think I gotta say, whether they want to admit it or not, he's also a coach builder.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, the people that go there, they leave and they're better for it. Even I'm sure Mario was better for it. You know, everybody that walks through it, he might be a dick and he might be a guy that will, because he runs his coaches into the ground, just like Derrick Henry. Yeah. But you're gonna come out better in the end. You know what I'm saying? So that's the other thing to him, that not only did he survive all those changes, but he made most of those people better because they went through their end.
Yeah, and I think, the coaches that he's got now, some of the new arrivals, they fit his personality, I think, a little bit better than maybe some of his initial choices. I think, a guy like Lance Guidry would probably be coaching major college football at a place like LSU or Alabama for the past decade if he didn't have some of the off the field issues that he had. Mario identified the right guy. He's come in. He's been great. The locker room loves him. And it's been a happy marriage. The defense has really, I think, taken a huge step up since he took over. And then I think Shannon Dawson, you can sit here and criticize some of his play calling. The one thing I appreciate about Shannon Dawson is he's not one of these headstrong offensive coordinators who is going to just be like, this is my system, this is what we're running. I asked him day one, media day, I said, so what do you do with these players? Do you steal plays? Do you watch what they did? Do you watch Cam Ward at Washington State? Do you watch Sam Brown at Houston? Do you watch Damian Martinez at Oregon State? He said, yes, hell yeah. And he goes, I'll steal every single one of those plays if that's going to make our team better. So, look, they're going to be a better football team this year. And I think the coaching continuity, the fact that some of these guys are willing to adapt to the talent and the kind of players that they have, all that's going to matter. That's why I'm expecting them to be good.
All right. So tell me, what else have you seen this week with the Canes getting back into camp now?
Well, I mean, you had a couple guys medically retire. For those of you who worry about roster and who's there and who's out and all this kind of stuff. First of all, they're a healthy team going into camp. This is because they had a bunch of surgery in the spring. You had those 30 plus guys that basically missed the spring having surgery, so you're fully healthy. But Zion Nelson medically retired. That was a guy that you remember from a few years ago. You're like, well, is he ever going to play again? He's at the end of the roster. He's officially medically retired. Michael Redding's another one, the receiver who is gone. He's been here for a long time. So you had a couple guys that were kind of off the roster. But outside of that, I mean, I like the transfers. You look at some of the dudes just physically, their bodies, what they look like. They're so much bigger on the offensive and defensive lines. It's ridiculous. Tyler Barron, he's 6'5", 260. He's got these long arms. The kid they got from Tennessee, he's just ridiculous. The defensive ends, the edge rushers, the defensive tackles, really, really good players. And the freshmen are monsters. Like his recruiting these last two cycles, you look at the offensive and defensive line, you're just like, those are real college football / NFL bodies that he's brought in here, and mentalities too. Just guys that are hungry, that want to get somewhere in their careers and make it to the NFL. They wouldn't have come here without all that. So I just, it's his team now, dude. Like, it goes back to our first topic. This is what he was brought in to do. He's built it. Now he's just got to go out and win.
Well, one position that I would like to see become monstrous once again, especially with a conservative coach like Mario Cristobal, that I know he's going to run at heart, but if you can throw to the tight end, that's a high percentage pass. That's one that I think Mario, maybe he doesn't want his quarterback throwing 50 times and a whole bunch of them downfield to wide receivers. But if he can find a big nasty that can create some havoc in the middle of the field, that would be cool. So when am I getting another big nasty at tight end, my brother?
Well, this kid, Elijah Lofton, if you got a chance to watch him in the spring or any of the highlights, he was the talk. He's a true freshman kid that just arrived here, went to Bishop Gorman High School. He's not especially big. He's 6'2", 6'3". He's 240 pounds, but the way he runs, I mean, they lined him up in the backfield at running back in the spring game. They lined him up in the slot. They lined him up off the line of scrimmage. They had him run a motion. They had him do all kinds of stuff. And he's a weapon, but he is a freshman, and I think he's going to be sort of a special usage type guy. The one that has to get his act together is Elijah Arroyo, another Elijah, who was, I think, on a sort of meteoric rise. You go back, you think to the touchdown that he scored at Pitt when Miami won that game at Pitt with Rhett Lashley, and Tyler Van Dyke throwing that double reverse pass or whatever it was. He was looking really, really good, Elijah Arroyo, at the end of that season. Then he gets hurt early on. Last year he comes back, still not 100%. It's a confidence issue for that kid. And I think if he can get confidence in the knee, he can really complete this offense. They're going to be really good at receiver. They're going to be really good at running back. I like their offensive line. I like their quarterback room a lot. But tight end, you're right, is the one position on offense that you say, if they've got that dude, they are a complete team. I think they're going to be a very good to great offense. But if Elijah Arroyo, Riley Williams, one of those dudes becomes a dude, then they are complete. This is a elite offense with the tight end room.
I'll just ask you real quickly, why did you win the Florida game?
Which game is that? The Florida?
Yeah, wasn't there a tight end that was involved in one of the Florida games that back a few years back? Wasn't if I'm remembering correctly, in one of the Florida games, wasn't a tight end a star in that game?
You talking about Miami and Florida back in?
Yeah. Long time ago, a while back. Well,
yeah. That's why you threw me off. I'm like thinking this isn't a recent game.
No, we haven't had that. That's what I'm. Like, and the soldier, wasn't it the soldier that pretty
Kellen
much
Winslow, yeah, correct, yeah.
he won the floor? Him and Beard, I think that day were like was it him and Beard?
Oh gosh, yeah. Beard had a big day. Devin Hester had that long kick return. That Miami had that huge second half comeback to win that. So
Was the soldier in that game, right? If I'm correct, right? I think it was that one.
Yeah, it was Winslow.
Yeah, you have moments where your tight end was, man, the reason why you're moving the offense or a key drive, and it's such a safety blanket for the quarterback too. On top of all of that, man. So that's why I'd like to see the tight end return, man. So let's see if they get it done.
Yep.
All right, Brett. Jeff, John, all the great people out there at Canesware, man. 2655 South University Drive in Davie. Tell them that Big O sent you. Go see them. Go check it out. The place is heaven for a South Florida sports fan because they've got merch for all the local teams. You want your messy jerseys and shirts and all that? They got it there. You're looking for Dolphins, Panthers championship gear, Heat, and, of course, the Canes. They've got it all at caneswear.com. All right. We will be back here with an NIL report.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.